There's a Trump supporter on Twitter. His name is Craig Fuller, but his handle is Freight Alley. Now, he made this post yesterday. He said, I enthusiastically supported Trump's victory in the November election. I thought I was voting for pro-business policies and small, targeted, and incremental tariffs that would encourage the production of strategic industries to return to the Americas, i.e., what we got in the first administration. I did not vote for a neutron bomb to wipe out supply chains and small businesses 100 days in. And he would obviously know about the supply chains because, like it says right here, his handle is Freight Alley. I talked about this in another video, but the reason why I'm pulling this up is because I was looking at his page. He posted this article to his feed. Air cargo faces $22 billion revenue hit when China tariff exemption ends. U.S. rule change for low-value imports also threatens thousands of small online sellers, e-commerce expert says. All right, the article says U.S. plans next month to cancel tariff-free access for low-value parcel shipments from China and Hong Kong, coupled with new 145% tariff rate on Chinese imports, could bleed more than $22 billion in revenue from air cargo sector over 3 years and put thousands of online sellers with direct-to-consumer fulfillment models out of business, according to an e-commerce and logistics consulting firm. This is going to touch some people's trigger points once I get to the meat of this. Derek Lossing, the founder of Cirrus Global Advisors, has previously said the Trump administration's recent trade actions against China would decimate air cargo out of China because demand for products on the Temu and Shein platforms would plummet. Temu and Shein. I know some people out here shopping for these low-cost things, these fast fashions out of China. His Seattle-based consultancy has now quantified the downstream effects of the changes on the air cargo sector. The Cirrus Global Advisor model shows the air freight industry revenue could contract $22 billion if the White House maintains tariffs at 125% for a substantial period of time. Based on assumptions about lower consumer demand, excess airline capacity, and downward pressures on yields. Large cargo airlines and freighter forwarders like Atlas Air and Kuhn plus Nagel subsidiary Apex Logistics, with heavy exposure to large Chinese marketplaces, as well as Amazon, does Amazon ring a bell, and smaller online brands are expected to experience downward pressure on revenues, Loosing said in a phone interview. This is going to really impact a lot of people. And it's actually worse than what he expected, because this part, it says the estimate was made before the U.S. clarified that China tariff rate was actually 145% to include a previous tariff, but it's unclear if the higher rate would further drag down industry revenue. Now, this is what Trump was saying on his live social page yesterday. Since our announcement of Liberation Day in all caps, many world leaders and business executives have come to me asking for relief from tariffs. It's good to see that the world knows we are serious, because we are. They must right the wrongs of decades of abuse, but it won't be easy for them. We must rebuild the wealth of our great country and create true reciprocity. But for those who want the easiest path, come to America and build in America. Nobody is going to come to America and invest in America with you being all over the place, chaotic, dysfunctional, and all of that. 2 more posts from yesterday. These are all caps. The golden rule of negotiation and success. He who has the gold makes the rules. Thank you. Thank you. And then also yesterday, the businessmen who criticize tariffs are bad at business, but really bad at politics. They don't understand or realize that I am the greatest friend that American capitalism has ever had. So as people start losing their businesses because of these extra costs, just know that is because you are bad at business. So the people that are losing money and asking for tariff relief, they're just bad at business. So what about all of the shipping? So this is going to be bad. There's a content creator called dataandpolitics.net. This person posted a picture and said, "This is ominous. I can't see a single ship coming into or going out of the Golden Gate." I don't know if people know and understand how bad it's going to get if there are no ships coming over bringing things that they usually bring on these cargo ships. And you can see the picture and that it was posted yesterday evening. He posted another picture right here. He said, "Even looking to the horizon, I can only see 2 container ships." And then he says, Trump's 145% tariff sparked a surge in imports, but exports didn't follow. It sparked a surge in imports because people were front loading all of the things that they needed as far as, supplies and inventory and everything that they could buy with the cash that they had on hand. But it says, but exports didn't follow. So other countries didn't want our stuff. We were bringing stuff in. And so for right now, we don't know how bad it is because of the companies front loading their inventory and that kind of thing. But he says, now West Coast ports are sending ships back empty. This is an economic revival. It's a retreat. And so there's something called blank sailings. It says scale of blank sailings dwarfs COVID era as U.S.-China trade dries up. And so they're saying, let me get into this article. It's a short article. With trade between the world's 2 largest economies effectively coming to a halt thanks to Trump's trade war with China, container lines are blanking sailings on a greater scale than was witnessed at the onset of the COVID pandemic 5 years ago. The global trade outlook, as witnessed by planned blank sailings on the Trans-Pacific in the weeks ahead, is dire. China responded 10 days ago to Trump's cumulative 145% tariffs, placing 125% tariffs on U.S. products, effectively foregoing business between the 2 countries. Blank sailings occur when ocean carriers skip scheduled port calls due to low freight demand or equipment shortages, disrupting supply chains. In April 2025, over 80 blank sailings were reported, surpassing the 51 from May 2020, signaling a severe collapse in global shipping activity. That is bad. 80 in April. What's going to happen for May? Looking at the carrier's decision to blank sailings is a good proxy with which to assess how booking uptakes unfold as a consequence of the trade war. The Sea Intelligent blank sailings tracker measures on a weekly basis the number of planned sailings which are blanked for the coming 12 weeks, as well as the capacity taking out due to this blanking. The latest data from Sea Intelligence, described as staggering in a weekly report published yesterday, shows that carriers anticipate container demand for week 18 next week on the Asia to U.S. West Coast trade line will be 28% lower than expected, while for week 19, carriers are expecting shippers to move as much as 42% less cargo than anticipated on the Asia to U.S. East Coast trade line. It's evident that the impact of the trade war has caused many shippers to pause or outright cancel shipments. In turn, this reduces demand for capacity on container vessels, and carriers respond by canceling bookings. Judah Levine, head of research at Freightos, a box booking platform, commented, "The near-term need to blank sailings out of China and possibly increase services from other origins may prove challenging for ocean carriers and cause delays for shippers, with empty containers concentrated in China likely to pose a challenge too." For the smaller niche carriers, the trade war is particularly destructive, Sea Intelligence warned in an earlier report. Most of them rely on large volumes from China on their services and are not well equipped to suddenly switch to alternate non-Chinese origin cargo. For some of these, we can potentially affect full service closures for the duration of the trade war. I don't know if people know and understand how bad it's about to get. If they are sending over ships that are half capacity, or if 42% less ships are coming next month, these ships, this cargo is how we get things to this country, and we're effectively stopping that. And people buy things in large quantities. That also helps to keep prices low. So if small sellers can't ship in these large containers because they're buying it in bulk, it's going to be bad for so many people. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think of all of this. All of this put together just says this is a cluster F of major proportions, but you let me know what you think. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share.